Hello everybody, my name is Brianna Bilo, and this is your May 2023 monthly climate summary. So starting out, we have our May story of the month, which for once is not related to snowpack or flooding. We actually had our second severe thunderstorm of the year, which occurred, it formed just outside of Rangeley and actually moved directly over the town of Rangeley. And we found a webcam image from a business in the town that reported these, well, it showed us that there was definitely hail going on. Of course, it's a little difficult to judge how big that hail is, but with the way that the storm was looking and the way that the storms had been that day, they were definitely on the stronger side. They were putting down some small hail, and this one was looking even stronger than that. We decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and put out a severe thunderstorm warning. And in the end, it did actually end up verifying between calling different businesses in town looking for reports, as well as some reports sent to us through social media from our people like you. We really do rely a lot on those kinds of reports. They really help us to know what's going on with these storms, and they help us to say, yeah, we did a good job. We knew what was happening with the storm, or oh, maybe we need to work a little bit more. We need to learn about how this storm worked so that we can do better in the future. Your reports really help us. So between those, we actually discovered that the hail falling out of the storm, especially on the western side of Rangeley, was an inch or better in diameter, and that qualifies as severe. And there wasn't really any wind with this one, although we did have several other storms that put out severe level wind gusts, just because it was a particularly dry day at the surface, and so all of the precipitation in these storms evaporated as it was coming down out of the cloud, and that led to some very gusty conditions. But this one just had the hail and no real damage besides some shredded tree leaves, luckily. But I mean, we don't really have these level of severe thunderstorms all that often, so pretty exciting event to have in the Western Slope. Looking at our high temperatures for the month of May, we had Canyonlands and Grand Junction tied with max highs of 88 degrees, and in Canyonlands this occurred on the 24th, 29th, and 30th, while in Grand Junction it was only on the 29th. And as you can see, looking at these dates here, it was really the end of the month that temperatures really started to pick up. We had our really warmest, even slightly above normal temperatures during this last week of the month of May, because the beginning of the month was actually a little bit cooler than normal as we came out of that stormy spring pattern and moved more into a warmer summer pattern. Looking at our low temperatures for the month, our coldest low was 28 degrees in Durango, which occurred on May 9th. And our warmest low was 42, which occurred on May 6th. And you can see that this first week-ish, like the end of the first week of May, was really our cold snap for the month. And things kind of warmed as it went throughout, as we moved towards June and the beginning of meteorological summer. Looking at precipitation, we have finally moved out of that really wet pattern we saw through the winter and into the spring, with more sites actually coming in with below normal precipitation for the month of May than we saw have above normal precipitation. Our big winner this month was Aspen, with just over normal for the month of May, and it had just over 1.5 inches of precipitation. And for Canyonlands, 1/100th of an inch of moisture for the entire month of May. They were just under 0.6 of an inch below normal. Very, very dry in Canyonlands this month, and vernal as well, of course. About half of these sites came in under 0.5 inch total, and near to above 0.5 inch of a deficit compared to normal. So we're definitely moving into more of that drier period that we expect to see in the late spring. Moving into early summer, that sort of transition from stormy winterness to more monsoonal moisture. Although this year might be a little bit different because we do still have that high elevation snowpack on the mountains, which may cause some issues with the development of the monsoon. We're just going to have to wait and see because the monsoon isn't a guarantee even in a perfect year. So definitely stay tuned for that. As far as our drought is concerned, we still have the exact same abnormally dry pockets here in eastern Utah. These have not changed one bit over the course of the last month. We do have a little bit of D0 abnormally dry conditions peeking in around the central mountains there, and that has a lot to do with the fact that of the mountain zones, they did the worst as far as the snowpack is concerned. I mean, they still ended up having an above normal snowpack, but we're talking maybe 125% of normal compared to 180% of normal for some of the other ranges. So I think this is an anticipation more than anything of that sort of dryness continuing for this area. But as far as our monthly drought outlook is concerned, from the drought monitor, we're not looking at any change. We are expected to see either no drought or abnormally dry conditions persist through the next month because these D0 categories are not actually classified as drought. They're like pre-drought. So when we're looking at this drought tendency, they don't count. You have to be a D0 or better to even like have some sort of coloration on the map. So we may continue to see a little bit of degradation here in the central mountains, but as long as it stays D0, this drought tendency will remain true and we won't see too much of a change across the area. My mouse. As far as our snowpack is concerned, this is as of the end of May, so this was as of May 31st. Southeastern Utah, completely done. The northeastern Uintas, we are definitely almost done here. We are sitting at 42% of normal, so we've seen a significant amount of that snowpack melt out, even more than would normally melt out in the month of April. The Duchesne Basin still doing all right, still above normal at 116% of normal. Moving into western Colorado, Gunnison Basin doing the best. They're still sitting at above normal with 138%. The Yampa White Little Snake, Colorado Headwaters, and San Miguel, Dolores Animas, and San Juan basins are all sitting in that 85 to 95% of normal, so roughly where you would expect them to be in a normal year. But I will say, as a caveat with these maps, they are based on SNOTEL data, and once the SNOTELs melt out or they have only a little bit of data or a little bit of snow on them, the measurements can get a little wonky. They aren't always representative of different levels of snowpack because they tend to be kind of centered in a certain elevation band, so they may not represent high elevation or low elevation. So as we move more into this warmer season and we see more of a melt out, these maps are going to start becoming a little bit unrepresentative. Depending on how things go this month, I may just completely take them out for the June summary. We'll see. But for now, this is where we stand. We've definitely seen some pretty significant melt out, but at the very least in western Colorado, we still have quite a bit of high elevation snowpack to go. Yeah. As far as our climate outlook for the month of June, this is from the Climate Prediction Center. They are favoring below normal temperatures. They are slightly favoring them for much of eastern Utah and western Colorado, with some of the highest chances of seeing below normal temperatures really kind of located along the Divide Mountains, the central and the southern Divide especially, and then with chances decreasing as you move west and north. As far as precipitation, again, we are slightly favored to see above normal precipitation, with the highest chances really being in this northwestern portion of Colorado, along the northern divide, with chances decreasing as you move south and west, with the four corners actually looking at equal chances of above or below normal precipitation for the month. And that's it for May. I will see you again in a month for June. Definitely check out the seasonal climate summary as we have now entered meteorological summer. And have a good one.